Welcome everyone to the Discover Monthly Career Chats. These are a series of um, uh, chats where we encourage and then engage with entrepreneurs and folks doing really interesting things in XR, media, filmmaking, robotics, anything that you can imagine that involves innovation. And so. This is actually our first one of the year, and we have been talking to Spencer for since the beginning of the year, actually. And shout out to Barry for introducing us. And yeah, we just wanted to kick this off and start it off strong. And then we'll have some other things coming. But Spencer is, uh, as we've gotten to know him, just clubhouse minded, super creative. I don't want to steal his thunder, but does an amazing job in mixing like culture and context and relevancy for young people and in the communities with hardcore physical art and animation tools and whatnot. So yeah, we are super excited to have him. He's well accomplished, has been doing this work for a while, runs his own programming, and really fits in to the core of the innovation program, which we try to expose young people to cutting edge technology and media out there, have them be the creators of that, have experience with it, and continue to and create their own things. So, without further ado, we'll pass it on to Spencer.
What happened? What happened? What happened? Nice to meet everybody. Thank you for coming out to hear me ramble for about 45 minutes. And I'm just gonna get into it because I have a lot of material to cover, maybe too much, and I don't want to take up too much of y'all's time. So we'll just get into this right here. Oh wait, hold on. I'm bad at this. I'm a tech guy, but I'm never. I still can't do Zoom, you know? We had to do that for a little bit, and I still never learned how to do it properly. Oh, so all the settings are good. Okay, cool. We are we're locked in now. Okay, so yeah, I run this thing called Brenda Arts, but I guess a little introduction about me is I'm an interdisciplinary artist living in Portland. My expertise is in creative direction, or animation, art direction, game design, that is specifically designed to uplift or, have Black people be seen in the media that I create. I work on behalf of a marginalized community, and I'm happy to do that work. We were talking, Matt, Jeff, and I were talking, and it's like this is like a definitely a Sisyphusian task because it's really hard to push the ball uphill, especially when you're standing on business for a marginalized community. But I'm gonna keep pushing that ball uphill, even if it like backslides. I'm not Indiana Jones. I don't run from the boulder. I run towards it. I embrace that. And I think I always will. So we'll just keep on rocking. I think that's really important. It's very important to me. It's like what gives my life meaning and purpose. So continue to do that on behalf of the kids. I blend my culture with tech and education and magic because we're the wizards. I make magic. I make magic. The kids make magic. We make magic together. We're wizards together, and that's what my whole little thing is about. So I'm excited to share more with y'all. Um, Credentials. I've been outside for a long time, and it's gotten me very far. There's some that I didn't even forgot to put on here. Actually, no, I did put them on there, but yeah, I just been collaborating with places from museums to the biggest entertainment companies in the world and pitching to some of those and game publishing houses, different conferences, different schools. Um, I don't like my practice to be one thing because I'm not just one thing as a person. I have a lot going on. Something's not right with me, and I hope that at the end of the at this presentation you can understand why. So, Kid Art for All. This is part one. Here's like a very brief timeline of what I've been up to for the last. God knows how long. It started, it says 2019, but I started before that when I used to make music videos for people. But 2019, Brenda Arts started off as an after school program where I raised funds to basically develop a art program for Black kids at a local Black charter school in Portland. And we made monster movies together. And I would teach them about production and how a lot of film and media is designed to make fun of them, even if they're not aware of it. So how can we make things in our in our own image and have that be the thing that like we produce? And that was basically the thesis of everything else I've been able to do. When COVID hit, it just kind of pivoted to being an online show, and I produced that with the art museum here in Portland. They've been very kind to me over my career. And then I was able to expand that idea out into different types of workshops from, theme park design, being Imagineers, to making a video game and then teaching kids about the process, and then making a TV show and teaching kids about the process, and then co-creating worlds and teaching them about not only just like the process of making the thing, but if it's about architecture, and I teach them about architecture in a sustainable way, or sustainable architecture, green architecture, and then they put their own spin on it, and then I translate that into my framework. It's a synergistic relationship I have with the young people that I work with, and I just am very happy that they come and have embraced me, and I've embraced them and their ideas, and we just have fun creating together. So I'm excited to share more. The first thing I do, or the thing that is probably the most important to me, is my canon, which is just like a list of works that are important to me, people that are important to me, places that are important to me. Um, I think it's really important to be able to write those down and articulate why you like them in a world where it's like algorithmically driven to, optimize profit and make things that are mass appeal. I just don't care about that. I never cared about that. I'm gonna do the things that I like and I'm interested in, and just the fact that um I like the things. It doesn't mean that it's going to be successful, but it is going to be me. And I think people like that. It's me as a person, and the things that I like and have been influenced by have been channeled into the things that I make and influence others. So that's cool. Like my favorite movie was Jurassic Park. My dad showed that to me when I was 3, and I knew what my life was going to be after that. I was like, I'm going to be a filmmaker in some way, and then I did that. I watched the making of Jurassic Park when I the documentary on the DVD when I was 5, and it told me everything I needed to learn about filmmaking and like building teams. So I've just been doing that for almost 30 years. I turned 30 in a couple months, so I guess 25 years. And then, more as I grew up, like more and more pieces would be added. Video games from when I was a kid, high fashion from Japan, different museums. It all has been collected and synthesized through my work. And when I work with kids, I always have them write out their canon because it gets the ideas flowing of like, oh, these are the things I like. This is why I like them, and I can put my own spin on it. It's an important first step for every class I teach. But this is the first iteration of Brenda Arts, which is cool. Classroom engagements, it was really fun and fulfilling. It was very difficult for sure, but I had a lot of fun. The one on the right there was me talking to a Pixar animator named Ben. He showed some stuff to the kids, and they asked questions, and we had a good time. Um, I did the first Brenda Art show in March of that year, right before the lockdown. It was like my last night out for a long time, and it was really fun. You can find those videos that the kids made on YouTube. I could probably link it into this somehow, but yeah, I can share that later. But going into my actual like creative practice, Brenda Lab was that TV show I was mentioning. It was basically Bill Nye for Black art. I wanted to do a PBS show before I built my relationship with PBS. More stuff coming this fall, hopefully. Talk to them about it. But I did all the art direction and stuff on that. Um, yeah, I really wanted it to be the educational show that didn't exist when I was a kid. The first episode was on Afrofuturism. I did a lot of all of the 3D for it. So that's like that first shot there. The whole episode looks like that. It was really fun. Um, when I would say I blend culture and tech together, a very select few of you might have noticed that that room that I'm sitting in is the exact room from Belly. But you really have to be tuned in for that. I just like to blend references in places that they don't even necessarily make sense, but if you're really tapped in, then you know. And I'll get more to that with upcoming projects, especially this one. I made a basketball fighting game with the publisher Panic, which is a local company. They made this system called the Playdate, which I can't find. I just moved, so I can't really find it right now. But it's like a little yellow Game Boy. It looks like a craft single. Um, and they gave me this opportunity to make a game based off of animation that I had, and it was a really transformative experience for me. I wanted to be the Hype Williams of games. There's a lot of reasons why that did not work out. That is a system, games are a system that does not want Black life or expertise to flourish at all. But the people who are doing it are really like the strongest soldiers. And I'm not one of them, but I'm glad that I'm aligned with them. Um, I took a I took a lot of inspiration from like Jordan Brand and Telfar, another place I've worked for, and Missy Elliott videos to make a game that felt like how I did watching those commercials when I was a kid. It's not really taking those pieces and just being like, I want to do that again. I wanted to synthesize all of it into my own practice. Like going back to the algorithmic piece, I think everybody or algorithms prioritize or capitalism prioritize like doing the thing again. But I didn't want to make Space Jam. I wanted to make like climate catastrophe last basketball tournament ever. Uh, Sad Space Jam essentially. And I think I was successful in that. I turned it into a festival in Germany recently, and they said like the game wasn't fun to play, but the production value and vibe was immaculate. And I was just like, hey man, I'll take that. I agree with that. But if you ever get an opportunity to play it, let me know. Maybe it is a lot more fun than I thought it was. But yeah, I since I'm extra, I wanted to make a commercial for this game to promote it for Summer Games Fest. And I took inspiration from the GOAT Spike Lee, so I'll play a little bit of the Spike Lee commercial that I parodied, I guess.
Yo! This is Mars Blackman, and this is my main man, Michael Jordan. And this is a pair of tight Air Jordans from Nike. This is something you can buy. And this is a patented, vicious, high-flying, 360 slam dunk. This is something you cannot do.
Let me repeat myself.
This you can buy. You cannot do this. Can.
You get it. And then here's my version.
Yo, my name is Spencer Garland, and I'm the lead game designer of Quantum Phantom Basketball, a basketball fighting game only for players.
Long-range shooting, high-flying, slam-dunking, hard-shoving, pre-rendered basketball fighting game action. Are you seeing this right now? Not in my house.
I'm real silly. I get to be silly for a living. Isn't that amazing? I love being whimsical. It got me very far. I showed it to Guillermo del Toro. He thought it was interesting. Very surreal moment in my life that I got to do that. Then I took it to PAX. I got invited, Panic invited me to go show the game at PAX. That was cool. And I talked about the development of a Black Games canon at the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco. And that was really neat too. And then that project ended. I'm really trying hard to get funding for the sequel. And when that happens, y'all will not hear the end of it. So more to come on that. But the best part of the Quantum Phantom basketball like cycle or press press run that I did is like taking it around to Black festivals. Like I went to Oakland for the Juneteenth festival and I shared that game there and I got some valuable feedback. And then I shared it at the art museum here because I had a relationship with them and they were doing some animation stuff. And it's fun. It's just nice to share it with the community that you're trying to reach and have them embrace it, even if they don't fully understand it, but they think it's cool. And that's made me feel good, and I just kept doing that. This is my first museum installation, the Albina Dream Survey. Albina, for people who don't know, is like the historically Black district in Portland. It's been really gentrified, but for a long time it was like the Black haven in the city. And there was a creepypasta or some kind of strange thing going on in the city like 10 years ago where people would see these signs that would ask for your dreams if you call a specific like hotline. And I just wanted to make my own version of that. And I thought it was really interesting. And this is what came out of it. Basically, I worked with kids at my local Martin Luther King Elementary, and I asked them for their dreams and like their designs, and then I would animate them into the superhero narrative where this guy, the dream collector, who's the one 3D character, would protect them from like an omnipotent evil force called the Nightmare. It was pretty cool. I really like it. I've come a long way, animation wise and like aesthetics wise, but I think this is the first project that really helps solidify how to combine kid art and fine art, video art and design together into one. I had a good time doing it. There was an installation where basically you go into that main character's bedroom and you were invited to draw your own dreams and then add it to the wall, because in the film he has like little drawings of people's dreams and he keeps them safe in his house, like his vault. So you could go enter the vault and hang out there. It was a very good experience. People went there for like multiple hours and would just hang out because the vibe was nice, and that ultimately made me feel good. Kids loved it. I signed autographs because they saw and felt it, and it made me really happy that when I could I could translate their ideas into a medium that they really resonated with and they saw themselves represented. I took it to festivals. That's me at Black Star on the right. So I got what I wanted from it. But this is the sequel. It's much bigger and better. I'm really happy with it. I've been working on it for 2 years. It's called Counter of Sheep, like the Burnett movie, Killer of Sheep, is about the fifth space, which is this island where the Dream Collector lives, and his wife, the Abra, who's on the main cover, is responsible for dream houses. So this whole project was about architecture and sustainability and climate change. Basically, the big picture of this is it's a co-created Afro fantasy climate adventure about ecological grief and community resilience. The narrative is this main character, everybody on the island, the kids, the Dream Collector, Abra, they have this dragon, which represents climate change, come and like burn down the entire town, and then they have to rebuild it in a more sustainable way so it doesn't burn down again. And I've had great success doing this one. This is my first foray into augmented reality. So it's a short film, it's an augmented reality installation, it's teaching workshops and like community engagement where people design houses together, and then that gets added to the island, which is cool. This is some of the short film. Some shots are older, and I have thrown those out, but the idea is pretty much the same with all of them. It's a spooky in a kid way, but also has the real meaning of like, I think about the idea of nostalgia a lot, which is nostalgia for a climate that doesn't exist anymore. And I just kind of wanted to have that like melancholy feeling of like, this is not the same as what it used to be, but we can still make something beautiful together. I'm a real hopeful guy. it doesn't like if you talk to me, I'm real cynical, but honestly, like that doesn't get me very far. I think being like, hey man, we can build new futures is way more important than just kind of laying down and saying like these are the way that things are and they're not going to change. Um, so that's my little spiel on that. This is what the installation is meant to look like. I scaled it down a little bit, so it's just a one channel video display. But the most exciting part about this project for me personally is being able to make an actual tangible site map of the neighborhood that we designed together. It's in the shape of a puzzle piece, which I'll show in a second, because the island is the shape of a puzzle piece. The fifth space is a puzzle piece, basically. Here's a test of the XR that I did recently. I really wanted the sitemap to feel like a really well-designed object, like a Dieter Rams inspired type of dealio. So I, made the colors look like that. I added the legs that look like mid-century modern chair legs on top of the, below the actual flat plane of what the map looks like. And yeah, I'm really excited about showing this to the kids later this week. I'm gonna have that part of it be animated, but when we actually do the finalized installation, there will be a actual tangible object, and then the animation will be floated on top of that. So you'll be able to walk around the physical objects and then see the same views, but with animation, life and color, and little guys moving around. So I'm really excited to be able to share that later this summer and then through the fall until next year. When I worked with the kids, they're very imaginative. So they gave me a lot of ideas of like how things should go. So when I was originally designing the main antagonist of the program of the project, I didn't really know what it looks like. And then a kid that I was working with drew a dragon. I was like, oh yeah, if it was a fantasy world and it was about fires, a dragon would start a fire. And I just thought that was brilliant. So I went and designed the dragon and made it move and all that. I haven't added those pictures in, but this is a render from that. And then kids designed like their own little houses. This one was fun. It was a dinosaur. It reminds me of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, those giant dinosaur hotels or whatever in California. So I did that. I just rendered out this shot for real last night, and it looks really good. I'm gonna do this one today. Somebody wanted to design a house that looked like a cake, and it's like, okay, sure, yeah, why not? That's the most sustainable material, cake, that's biodegradable. I like that. And I just wanted to make sure that all the colors matched, and I'm really satisfied with the spread here. I'm a real colors guy, as you couldn't tell. And then like the last thing that I have is Team Extreme, which was I could just do the pitch. So when I was a kid, I was really into extreme sports, but I was risk averse. I still am, but I was worse then. So I lived vicariously through people who were like really extreme and into skateboarding or kayaking or rafting or snowboarding or whatever. And since I was a real imaginative kid, I made my whole team of OCs that did these things, like mascots, but for different action sports disciplines. And as I grew up, they kind of aged with me, and I wanted to pitch to Adult Swim for the second time. Didn't work either time. Might work this time, mind you, but I wanted to check in with them as almost 30-year-old. And when I checked in with them, they're a lot older, their knees hurt, but they still want to shred, and that's where the world of Team Extreme enters the picture. So I made this animation utilizing motion capture and hand-drawn elements of the world. And somebody in this call actually did one of the voices. Shout out to Marissa for holding that down. But yeah, I'm just going to show you the pitch video that I made, and we'll talk about it later.
Action! Very easy. Okay. The stream is live. Team Extreme is back.
Sup, cucks? Heard y'all talking trash online. A lot of chumps saying Team Extreme is all washed
Nobody's
up.
talked about you in 20 years.
Heard y'all saying Team Extreme. Aren't they all washed up? They're old and weird now. They can't skate anymore. Check this out. No warm-up. Take one. Oh, God. Oh, my bones. Did you get all that?
Heck yeah, this is gonna do numbers.
Team Extreme for life. Medic.
All that talk and he eats it.
That was not it. You let your ancestors down, brother.
Real close, though. I appreciate you giving your best out
Yeah, it was cool. I showed this at the clubhouse in Roxbury, and the kids said, quote, "This is actually really cool. This is cool, actually." And I was like, "Actually?" It's like, "No, man, it's cool. Stand on business." I'm glad that they liked it. I glad that it resonated. But yeah, I utilized motion capture for the first time. I've been having a lot of fun with that. That's been implemented into Counter of Sheep, and I did a thing for Donald Glover's production company that also used this model of Tanner, but also like motion capture, and it looked really good. It's just a fun tool to use. I like performance capture. I like becoming these little guys I make in my computer. It brings me closer to them instead of just sitting looking at a screen for hours on end. I can become the guys. But yeah, this is Team Extreme all is a originates from me growing up in Boise, just being very odd and having a lot of imaginary friends. These are the types of characters and critters that would keep me safe, I guess, being an only child or whatever. Geyser is my favorite. He's a sentient juice box I designed when I was like 10. And I have a tattoo of him. He's my favorite character that I've ever made because I love Capri Sun, and I love going fast. So he's a symbol of both of those ideas. The main antagonists of the series in this world are the Fornians, which are these like strange AI generated white people that are coming to colonize Boise, where this is set. And this is where it all started for me. Like, I never let go of the child that was creating things in like 2005 and before that and after that. I think that is when I was the most me, I guess. I was very free. And I'm just glad that I've been able to make a career where I could tap into that version of myself and make that version of myself proud, and also be able to share that with young people that I was also a young person or I was also a child. And then they were like, oh, if he can do it and he started now, I can do it when I get to his age or even earlier. So I just like having humility in that way. It's just like, yeah, I was awkward. I'm still awkward in a different way. And it's just, yeah, I think a lot of adults just kind of been like, oh, I'm done with that. I don't need to tap into that version of myself. But I'm like, nah, I embrace the old version of me. Look how cute he is. Look at that smile. Look at that shaved head. The beautiful chocolate drop that I was and still am. But yeah, so to end things, I talk really fast. We have some time, but to end things, I usually go over some free game from me to the student or whoever I'm dealing with. So you can distribute this or think about it for yourself. But these are just some things that I've learned in my career, and hopefully you can glean some knowledge from them as well. Be smart with your money. This is an expensive thing to do that doesn't have a lot of return. I got really lucky recently where I was able to make dividends off of this and be able to have this be my career. And it's a huge blessing. I'm so excited to be here, be able to share this with everybody. But yeah, it's a very expensive thing to keep going to conventions or trade shows, especially if they're not paying you to be there. But yeah, end times are really hard right now. So it's just something to think about. It's all economics at the end of the day. So it's just something about that. Like the wrong things, like going back to the canon, I feel like I'm pretty sophisticated, but I listen to like dumb boy music all the time. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I listen to the finest of Japanese jazz at all times. I'm not that guy. I like a lot of things, and a lot of things are objectively terrible and not good, but I can glean meaning and significance from them, and I stand on that. You know, need to I don't need to have it all figured out. I like what I like, and I'm confident enough in myself that I can take that and synthesize it into something that is workable for me. So just really stand on business on the things that people might deem weird or off-putting or whatever. You just really just stand on it and just be true to yourself. That's what it is at the end of the day. Develop your own canon. It's important. Just think about all the things that you like, write it down in a list, categorize it in any way that feels relevant to you. It feels good when you do that. Um, you don't have an opportunity to write about the things you like a lot of the time. So if you just take that time, that half hour to yourself to write it out, it feels pretty good. Trust me. Send a damn email if you want to go do something. You know, just reach out to do it. I sent Team Extreme to Netflix off of a DM I sent like 3 years ago. I got sponsored by Teenage Engineering because of an email I sent in like 2018. And then I built a relationship with them over time. I always just shoot my shot, man, and that's all I can really do. And if people embrace it, that's cool. And if they don't say anything, it's like, all right, well, it wasn't the time or it wasn't the person. So that's just how I see it. I think it's always relevant just to put yourself out there and see what happens. Find the right crew. Finding a team of people who believe in you and you believe in them and their workers is really important. A lot of this stuff will not happen if you don't have the right networks of support. So finding those people, it might take a long time to find them, but when you link up together, magic happens, wizardry happens. Um, Rejection isn't failure, it's opportunity. A lot of this is like people saying no. Grants, people say no. Opportunity, residency, people say no. Fellowship, people say no. As long as you learn from the experience, then you're not failing. Failure is doing something and learning absolutely nothing from it. But if you're learning all the time, then you can't fail. So just think of it like that. Play the par nine. This isn't a short-term get rich quick scheme. If it was, I would have burnt out by now, but this is a marathon, not a sprint. I've been doing this for 7 years. This is my seventh year of like the Brenda era, and I had like 3 years of music video stuff before that, and I was successful and been able to travel or whatever off of that. But this one's way more successful and lucrative. It took me a long time. There's a lot of people who didn't believe in it. I remember I remember those meetings in like 2019, 2020 when people were like, I don't get what you're trying to do. And then I showed them and then they came around later. But, you know, it's one step after another. You can't skip steps. It's just a slow slog uphill like Sisyphus. But again, I'm not running from the boulder. I'm running towards it. So that's all I can say about that. Be the wizard, man. You got to be out there. You got to be confident in yourself, confident in your abilities, confident in the people around you. And then if the people are around you are confident in you, then you're going to make magic together. And that's all you can really do, man. That's what we have right now. So stand on that. And yeah, that's pretty much all that I got for right now. Here's my socials. If you want to take a picture of that and follow me, feel free to do so. I dress real cool over there. My art's cool. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyway, I guess I'm gonna open it up to questions now. And yeah, thank you for hearing me ramble. I hope it made sense.
Yo, that's amazing, man. I love your perspective. I love the how you stand so firm in your perspective. So anyway, I've talked to you for months, so I'll let other folks ask questions.
Hey, Spencer, appreciate you. Um, I'm really interested in this point in like an artist or creative person's like career that is like the point where you're like, oh, I've been freelancing for X amount of years, and freelancing is tough, right? And like, there's a lot of extra labor that goes into promoting yourself and making those connections. And then it seems like for a lot of folks, there's the decision to not do that and go back to a desk job or something more traditional. And then on the other hand, there's the decision to just say, okay, I'm going to go all the way in and like try to do my own thing, continue to get contracts and deals and whatever else. So like, was there a moment or, an era that you realized, oh, I like this is what I'm going to do, regardless of getting grants or regardless of funding, and like what brought you there?
That I just went all in on this idea. Um, I mean, I had a job last year, and then I left that job, and I was like, it was a pretty tumultuous relationship, let's say that. And I was like, I got lucky, and I got a big grant, and was like, okay, I'm gonna, I'm just gonna commit to this and see where it leads me. And it's worked out for now. That's all I can say is like it's
Yeah.
working out for now. I'm not, I don't know what's gonna happen like next year, but for right now, it's working out. I don't know what my desk job would even be at this point. I have a lot of skills, but a lot of do jobs even exist? What are jobs going to look like next year even?
Yeah.
Nobody really seems to know. So sometimes I guess the economy is so bad you can only follow your dreams and see if it works out or not. So I'm
Yeah.
just kind of trying to do that and um I'll I'll go work for somebody for sure. I like the Clubhouse network. I'll go try to do something like that, but I was thinking about going to grad school and then doing the grad school to running a creative lab at a school pipeline, and that didn't pan out. But I don't know. This is extremely unstable. I'm a person who likes stability, but I just realized that like this was never meant like if what so I'll say it like this. Like when I was talking to my producer for Team Extreme in LA, she was like, Spike Jones is trying to apply for grants. So if he has an Oscar and is in the same position as me, then there's nothing to really talk about. Like we're at the end of something. So I don't know. I just try to be nimble and hopeful and keep my eye out and ear to the ground on everything and just really go out and shake hands and talk to everybody. Um, but yeah, it's like it's very unstable, and I'm just happy that this project right now has support. Two projects I'm working on have support, but it's like it could fall apart. Um, but I work hard to make sure that it doesn't. And if it does, like I'll go back to doing something else and keep doing it. I'm never gonna stop doing this. Even if I work for somebody else, I'm never gonna stop doing it. I just have a uh a will that won't quit. So that I hope that answers your question. I'm really bad at the question and answer sections of these
No, no,
things.
no. I appreciate the perspective.
Yeah, thank you, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Spencer, that's who Misha, that's our colleague we're talking about that introduced me to teenage engineering.
Oh yeah, it's cool.
For folks who don't know, y'all know what teenage engineering is? It's y'all might
Sweet.
do
It's
it,
a
but
it's a Swedish company that makes synthesizers and other consumer electronics in the Braun Dieter-Rams era way. So it's just like really nice stuff. I'm not much of a musician, but I really wanted an OP1. I was fortunate enough to get one from them. It's really cool. I'm yeah, it's just really neat prosumer electronics that last forever. They make things in the ways that I get they make things in ways that I aspire to make, which is I think a lot of like the political climate is like trying to bring like manufacturing back to the US, but I just try to make things that are really good and will last for a long time. I think there's a lot of incentive to make very cheap things very quickly and produce them in at volume, but I was never been able to do that. I had another thing I guess I didn't really mention in the free game section is like you can go at any pace you want, but you have to think about backends and like backdoors if you want to do that because everybody's trying to do the influencer thing. But I was never interested in that because I can't make things that quickly. And I work with kids and I don't feel good about putting kids on the internet. So I had to figure out another way to do it and it worked out for me. So it's just pivoting and figuring out what works for who you are as a person and what you're trying to do.
Um,
Let's
Yo,
see.
can I follow up the free game
Yeah,
offerings
man.
too and ask about just a couple of technical questions float around about your workflow. But for example, there's a couple examples in your deck where you had a raw sketch and then
Yeah.
a 3D design of that sketch.
Hmm.
What can you say a little bit about your workflow from like that from converting that sketch into a 3D object?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So. Oh, with a lot of the kid art or like the hand-drawn art that I have or utilize in the work, it's like I take pictures of them on my phone and then I put it into Photoshop, clean it, make it into like and basically make it into a vector. And then I put that vector into Blender and I can add a bump map or a normal map, which is basically a picture of a texture that can be put onto a flat plane to make it have the illusion of it having dimension, essentially. So I do a lot with the Albino Dream Survey and Team Extreme and Counter Sheep. I do that a lot with flat objects. I make them look like paper, like they're crumpled paper, because it's like children's drawings. I always associate that part of my life with like drawing on in sketchbooks and then like throwing them away, like crinkling them up and throwing them away. So I wanted to have that feeling when I look at the work that I make now. So it's just like I can do that with a lot of different ways. Like I'm thinking about how to use photogrammetry and make things with clay, scan that into my computer, and then be able to utilize those as 3D assets in my workflows. And I'm planning on doing a whole workshop with the Clubhouse Network about taking actual tangible objects that we make in the real world, digitizing them, and then utilizing them in the 3D space. So I'm really excited about that.
We'll say a little bit more about that at the end, but
Yeah.
let y'all get your questions in first if folks got thoughts or reflections too.
just
I
to,
threw a lot at you. I apologize.
no, just to piggyback on what Matt said, one thing that really stood out to me was the variety of like textures or like aesthetics like inside your work. You know what I'm saying? So even when I'm looking at it, like the skateboarder has it seems like a variety of textures, like anything from something that looks hand drawn, but then and I might be mixing up the characters, but then the vest that they have on is crazy detailed, like it's like almost like a fur jacket, but it's
Yeah.
yeah, like that is so dope to me.
Yeah.
Like
And the dude with the
you're
glass that looks like it's glass or something like that too.
right.
So
You
different.
know, I mean, like a lot of my come up when I was really thinking about like art and design was during the Bape era of streetwear and fashion
Mm,
and the associated worlds of that. So like I designed the main character, of the basketball game, who's on the bottom middle. I just designed him to feel like a vinyl version of the Pharrell album cover from In My
mm,
Mind. So, or like a Bape character. He's really cute. I have a tattoo of him. That's one of my favorites. And then on the same side, like the Apple guy also came from that. There's another brand from Japan called Undercover, and they have like an Apple character, and it reminds me of that. I grew up making stuffed animals with my grandma. It was like really important to me, and I still have some of them. So I was really into going to this place in Boise called Caledonia, which is a fabric store, and just looking at fabrics all day, and then picking fabrics out for these characters I wanted to make. And I never lost that. So the Dream Collector, who's in the bottom right in the corner, I wanted him to look like his robe is furry, and I pay a lot of attention to making things look soft and malleable because so much of CG is like trying to push realism. I'm not really interested in that. I'm not interested in the bleeding edge of anything. I just wanted it to feel like you could, if you saw him, he'd look soft and probably smell good. And if you gave him a hug, it would feel good. I think that's part of the whole appeal of that project, which was trying to make something cozy, even if it was a little scary. And yeah, I really care about stuff like that. There's like you can see in the background the mountains, and the mountains that are in the foreground are also scanned into the 3D environment, and they look like they're actually there. So it's a fun. And then, you know, like his shirt has like a wild texture, and then that the actual texture of the shirt is a spray painted airbrush of something. And it's the same with Tanner's pants that you can see in the bottom right. Yeah, it's just very human, you know? So much of this AI boom is like we're getting rid of that. You know, you go to San Francisco, they're having ads that are like, why hire a real person? What are we doing here? What is this? You know, so I'm kind of like rejecting that in the ways that I can. This is so much bigger than me. I'm not grandiose and trying to be like this is weird and bad, but I don't know, man. I like what I like. I stand on what I like, and hopefully, if these characters were ever to become real and you could meet them, they would be as soft as they look. So, yeah.
Marissa just came in. Marissa, you want me to read that for you, or do you want to say that another way?
I can say it out loud. I just didn't want to interrupt. Spencer, I really love how a lot of the work that you make, especially with
We
young
make.
people, we make. Yeah, I am a part of the Team Extreme cohort. It really gives space and pathway for young people who you're working with to like actually not just visualize, but to create the thing that they're visualizing outside of like what the norm around them might look like. And so seeing the tools of how to make a thing so that they can create their vision instead of trying to I don't want to say impersonate, but to like do something they're seeing.
Imitate, yeah.
Imitate, yeah. I think it's like really classic for young people to think about like imitation as a first step, which isn't a bad thing. It's oftentimes like the first pathway towards doing something. Like I used to trace cartoons when I was a kid before I learned how to draw them, but I also think it's really cool that you're teaching through doing and also through working with young people and bringing their vision to life, how they can adapt what the tools are to create the very thing that they are imagining. And because I think it's also really classic for kids to compare themselves to what's being done right now, whether it's the kid sitting next to them or the thing they see on TV, and not be able to achieve exactly that thing and then feel like judgment on themselves for it. And so I think what's really unique about the Brenda work that you do and the programming that you do is that you kind of give kids permission to like create their specific vision instead of just like matching what they see.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I just you and I are true originals, and we just want to make more true originals out there, you know?
That's right.
It's important for people just to be like, this is who I am. I like this stuff, and I hopefully, I can help them through using the tools of today to just be more that than somebody else. I just want people to have confidence in themselves. That's all of this is really. The wizard is the wizard is a character. It's a character that I play, but ultimately it's like if I needed a superhero, I need to be that. And I think everybody should have that version of themselves too. So yeah, it's cool.
I think the other thing that I really appreciate about your work is it's like taste and context overrides, specific like this has to look like a Sasquatch thing that you see on the whatever, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah,
when you're working with young people, like some of them will be discouraged. Actually, like what Marissa was just saying, some of them may look like, okay, I tried to draw this skateboarding bird and it doesn't look super like the Disney cartoon or the Pixar or the person next to me or this and that. But if you're standing in the confidence of the strangeness of it and and your perspective and all your characters kind of have like this world that they're coming from, that's taste to me, and taste is like a currency that you can't really duplicate in like the AI world, like and
they're
in context. So
no, no, they're trying. That's why the big thing is taste for them right now. The
mhm.
Silicon Valley obsessed with taste is interesting to me because it's like so much of tech is meant to be ephemeral, especially now because of planned obsolescence. Um, but like, yeah, it's there was I was thinking about this earlier. There was a point in the 90s when Apple was just trying to make like the premium of design products. And I thought that was an interesting idea. And I'm not trying to get there necessarily, but I just think if we're going to engage with something, there should be a refined experience and not slop. We live in a slop era, and it won't be like this forever. But for right now, it's just like mass produced and like mass produced mass media. And I
Yeah.
just try to do something more bespoke. And I think young people are already kind of bespoke in the things that they're into, and then kind of get spread out of them over time. But I just try to get at them early and be like, hey man, like this cool anime stuff that you're doing, that just keep doing that. You'll
Mm.
you'll learn technical skills for sure. And I can teach you technical skills, but if your animation's a little janky, hey man, that's just you. My animation
Mhm.
isn't perfect. I get very self-conscious about like, oh man, like it's not gonna look like hoppers. My computer will melt if I try to render something out that looks like hoppers.
Mm.
That I can't do it. Um, I can strive to be more proficient in what I'm trying to achieve, but it's not going to get there because I just don't have that skill or that team. So I can just try to do my own thing while gleaning from that, like I did with the Jurassic Park making of documentary when I was a kid. So
Mm.
it all comes back down to just interpretation and being confident in your interpretation and encouraging other people to be encouraged in their interpretation. I have not really tried the grease pencil blender. It is pretty cool though. Um, there's so many features in that program. It's a miracle. One, it's a miracle that it's free. And two, um, there's just always so much to learn. I'm just excited to learn more and experiment more. So thank you for that question.
Yeah, we'll have to root back to that one. Man, this is I don't know how everybody else is feeling, but I'm holding back on like six more questions and comments on this thing. Even just like on the way out, like the one eye dude, the dude with one eye instead of two, like breaking reality in that. I wanted to ask you about it, but I'm gonna give this as a big up to you. Like it makes you feel like anything's possible. It makes you feel like
Anything? Yeah.
it breaks the cage around your creativity just by seeing that one little deviation, which is so dope. But I know we're like 2 minutes out, and want to give you a chance, man. You think you could cram in like a 1 minute explanation of the cohort that's coming up, Spencer? And then I want to give a chance for everybody to get a little early access to the queue, if you want.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, we're just gonna talk about for this cohort's what 4 sessions, right?
Yep.
4 sessions. We're gonna do what I do. We're gonna take some live drawings that we make in reality, digitize them, and then we're gonna bring them to life through the various tools, tech tools that we have at our disposal. We're just going to make little vignettes, little worlds, utilizing our own drawings and how it can be translated into a different medium that's intangible, taking the tangible and putting it into the intangible together. So I'm really excited about being able to coach people through the process. It's a lot easier than you think, but there's a very high, not necessarily skill ceiling, but you could do a lot with that technique. From like the little characters that I do, and I'll show some more stuff that I did with that recently that I just rendered out. But yeah, I'm really excited to be able to share that, and then you can take we'll experiment with photogrammetry, we'll experiment with like scanning and uploading things to Blender, maybe some meta AI in there, but that's just where we are. But yeah, I'm excited to work with y'all and share some of my insights, and hopefully you can turn around and share that with your kids. I'm trying to make it as accessible as possible, so the least amount of equipment necessary to do these things, because I think accessibility is important. But yeah, I'm excited to share that. Is that a good enough spiel?
Yeah, that's a great spiel.
Thank you for coming out. I really appreciate your all time. And I'm excited to be working with everybody. Thank you to Jeff, Matt, and Barry for having me out and being very kind to me, and seeing me and embracing what I'm doing. That feels really good. And yeah, that's all I can say right now. Excited to be out here, continue to share my love with y'all. Yeah.
Thank you, Spencer. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
We look forward to a long, ongoing relationship with you, man.
Consider yourself embraced, brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.